Yes, this one is from GD. Said, Mr. Minister, what's the difference between Dumsor and load shedding?
That is an interesting one. Unfortunately, I don't have the appropriate vernacular, and I asked on a show that the Ghanaian language should help me with the appropriate vernacular. What I have always said, or this ministry has always said, is to make a distinction between load shedding and localized outages. For example, within the last 3 weeks, in a single week, we got 5 transformers in Tema vandalized. Plain thievery. People want to steal the copper, so they damage the transformer. If you do that, the area that transformer covers will be denied of light. And that is an example of a localized outage. I cannot be responsible for that. I cannot promise Ghanaians that thievery will stop. I cannot. So that is why I make the distinction. As a ministry, we say our promise is that we are working towards ending load shedding. Load shedding is power curtailment arising out of a generation deficit. So literally we are rationing power because of the deficit. And that we are working to address by bringing on new generation. But I cannot be responsible for cable thefts. I cannot be responsible for vandalism. And again, as a result of technological advances, when you overload some transformers, they cut off in order to protect the equipment. Those, I'm afraid, will continue when we overload transformers. You see, it is not for nothing that in other jurisdictions, before you build, you need a building permit. The utilities then gather information. At least they know that in this area, in this locality, this number of buildings are coming up. And therefore, they will need to expand the power infrastructure in 3 years to meet the growing demand there. In Ghana, building permits are more noticed by their absence. And so the utilities don't have the information for planning ahead. So suddenly in a year, you find out that a whole number of buildings, properties have sprung up in a particular locality. That has not been planned for. So the transformer becomes overloaded. And when the transformer becomes overloaded with the modern ones, they will cut off. So I cannot also assure Ghanaians that transformers will not cut off to protect the equipment. And that is why we make the distinction between load shedding and localized outages. But if my understanding of the vernacular is correct, one word is used for every light-off. And that's why I want some of you to help me with the right vernacular to distinguish between the two.